These two were once members of a secret assassin group, operating under CIA direction. But they broke the rules, fell in love, and even had an adorable son together. Now, the entire assassin squad is hunting them down to tie up loose ends. The two must flee, doing everything to ensure the safety of their small family. What will their journey be like, and will they ultimately find the person behind it all? Let's find out right now. In Miami, Florida, Isaac, a devoted father, is with his 4-year-old son. He puts on his hearing aid, while his son looks at him and asks if the scars on his back are from fighting bad guys. Isaac smiles gently and replies that they are. The boy then asks why he's never met his mother. Isaac tells his son that his mom is out there, confronting bad people to keep their family safe. To encourage him, he also tells his son stories about his mother. After bath time, father and son go to bed. Once his son is sound asleep, Isaac alone replays their favorite song and reminisces about his wonderful wedding. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a group of assassins is carrying out a plan to eliminate a target. However, they don't realize it's a complete trap. By the time the commander realizes this, it's too late. A female assassin sends him to the afterlife with a clean shot to the head. That female assassin is Kyra, Isaac's wife. She's on her own mission, systematically eliminating former members of Shadow Force, a secret CIA assassination unit where she and Isaac were once members. But now, that very unit is hunting them both. The next day, Isaac and his son go to the bank to handle some paperwork. There, he runs into a bit of trouble with high withdrawal fees. While he's talking to the bank teller, 3 masked robbers suddenly burst in, brandishing guns. They order everyone to get on the floor. Amidst the chaos, Isaac notices his son is frozen in fear. He steps forward and demands one of the robbers let his son go. But the robber just smirks and points his gun at the boy, threatening him. "Ah, you dare touch my son. Looks like you've chosen death." Isaac coldly removes his hearing aid. Gunshots ring out, and in the blink of an eye, the robbers are completely neutralized. Immediately after, Isaac and his son rush out of the bank, get in their car, and drive off. As they weave through the streets, Isaac knows the incident has blown his cover, so he tells his son they'll have to leave this place for a while. Meanwhile, in Mexico, Jack, the newly appointed G7 Secretary General, is watching a news report about the Inspector General's office opening an investigation into his past, focusing on his time as head of the CIA's Shadow Force unit. Suspicion is mounting around the shady operations conducted under his command. Annoyed, he's approached by a secretary who informs him that Kyra has eliminated another member of Shadow Force. Half the members have been taken out, only 5 of the original 12 remain. The secretary also informs him that Isaac was caught on camera taking down robbers at a bank. After reviewing the video, Jack suddenly realizes the real reason Kyra and Isaac left the unit 5 years ago wasn't betrayal, it was to protect their son. Jack immediately orders a full investigation into Isaac's whereabouts and demands the mobilization of the remaining assassins. He puts a $50 million bounty on the couple's heads. Over here, Kyra, while resting, also receives the footage of today's bank robbery through an internal assassins network. In Spain, a woman known as Dee, working under the Inspector General's office, is tracking Jack's activities with her colleague. They are currently operating deep undercover, monitoring Shadow Force members in hopes of finding something incriminating on Jack. In the United States, at the G7 Command Center, Jack addresses the leaders of the 7 nations about the scandal involving his Shadow Force unit. He reveals that 8 years ago, he was recruited by the US government to lead a top-secret CIA initiative called Shadow Force, a unit of elite operatives responsible for carrying out top-secret assassination missions globally. Jack explains that Isaac was formerly a commander in the team and fell in love with a fellow female operative named Kyra, even though romantic relationships within the unit were strictly forbidden. When they left the organization, they took sensitive government intelligence with them. To prevent classified information from leaking, Jack reassures the council that he has doubled the bounty and will do whatever it takes to capture Isaac and Kyra. Meanwhile, Isaac and his son arrive in Colombia. After navigating through dense jungles and rugged terrain, they reach a safe house. Only after carefully checking his surroundings does Isaac feel secure enough to rest. That night, while having dinner, his son looks up and asks him why he had to take off his hearing aid when fighting the robbers at the bank. Isaac pauses, thinks for a moment, then explains that not hearing the noise helps him concentrate better, making time seem to slow down, which is how he can defeat the bad guys. Back in Miami, Kyra's mind flashes back 4 years, to when their son had just been born. She was tending to Isaac's wounds after a fight. He told his wife that Jack wouldn't stop until they were both caught. So, Isaac suggested turning himself in, hoping it might end the pursuit and protect their child. But Kyra stopped him, saying that wouldn't be enough. She revealed a secret she had never told him before. Even before Isaac joined Shadow Force, Jack was in love with her. But she never reciprocated his feelings. And when she rejected him, he retaliated by demoting her, isolating her, and making her missions increasingly dangerous. However, Kyra never gave in. She told Isaac that Jack's vendetta wasn't just professional, it was personal. Finally, she made a decision. She proposed to hunt down the remaining Shadow Force agents herself and take down Jack. She asked Isaac to do the harder job, protect their son. Isaac knew this was too dangerous and wanted to handle it himself instead of his wife. But Kyra didn't agree. She promised him that when the mission was complete, once the danger had passed, they would reunite and live together as a family. Returning to the present, Kyra sends a secret message to Dee, a longtime friend and trusted ally of both her and Isaac. After receiving the message, Dee immediately discusses it with her colleague. They begin to analyze where Isaac might have hidden so they can assist him. That night, while sleeping, Isaac hears a noise in the cabin. Thinking there's an intruder, he immediately grabs his gun and prepares to investigate. To his astonishment, the shadowy intruder is Kyra. But her face clearly shows anger. She's obviously unhappy that Isaac has compromised their son's location. A tense scuffle breaks out. Their duel is fierce, both physically and emotionally. It's a strange way for a long-separated husband and wife to greet each other. But then, they suddenly notice a small figure standing there. It turns out their son has been silently watching everything. Kyra hesitantly steps towards the boy, kneels, and gently starts talking. She smiles tenderly and tells him she is his mother, and the two share an emotional hug after their long separation. When it's time for bed, the boy is still anxious, afraid that his mother will be gone when he wakes up. Isaac reassures him, telling him to rest easy, that the family will always be together. Over here, Jack gathers the 5 remaining Shadow Force agents at his home. He announces that the bounty for Kyra and Isaac has now doubled. Whoever completes the mission will receive the full amount of $100 million. He also says that it's because of these two that the organization fell apart. Their betrayal not only caused great losses but also cost the lives of other members. More importantly, Jack reveals that there's a mole secretly providing him with Isaac and Kyra's location. At this point, Isaac and Kyra are arguing. He asks his wife when they will finally escape this life of constant running. Kyra says she has eliminated the agents who were hunting him and their son, all while operating covertly. She also reveals that Jack has reactivated the Shadow Force, and they are now trying to hunt them down. Kyra suggests contacting Dee, who is now working with the Inspector General's office. She believes that with official backing, they might have a chance to bring Jack down. But Isaac dismisses the idea, saying that if they do that, they'll be bound by the law and won't be able to eliminate Jack once and for all. Smirking, Kyra retorts that if they go head-to-head, they have absolutely no chance, not to mention Isaac's skills are definitely not at their peak anymore. She then challenges her husband to a shooting contest. To his surprise, she hits the target perfectly. Isaac makes excuses, saying it's because he spent 5 years raising their son, so he hasn't had time to practice. Kyra laughs, teasing that he always was a bad shot, even when he was on the team. She rolls up her sleeve, revealing an old scar on her shoulder, the result of Isaac missing during a mission long ago. Later, Kyra shows off her fancy car, equipped with a bulletproof system and a specially designed secure trunk, ready for their upcoming journey. Isaac asks where they will meet their friend Dee. She explains that Dee will find them, but until then, they need to keep moving. Meanwhile, after receiving a message from Kyra stating that she and Isaac are in Colombia, Dee and her colleague immediately board a plane. Mid-flight, Dee reviews surveillance footage of one of the Shadow Force agents. This agent consistently steers conversations away from important information at crucial moments, which Dee finds extremely odd. She tells her colleague she suspects a mole is feeding information to Jack's side. Back with our main characters, the family is happily chatting while on the move. They reach a stretch of road with thick fog. Suddenly, the radar indicates enemies nearby. Isaac notices a group of motorcyclists speeding towards them, quickly closing the distance, continuously firing flares to attack. Knowing they've been ambushed, Kyra opens a secret compartment in the back seat that leads to the trunk. She quickly ushers their son inside. The space is lined with protective padding, clearly built for emergencies like this. Under heavy attack, Kyra raises a shield and takes cover behind it to return fire. Bullets fly, and a truck continuously rams their rear. Isaac steers wildly on the narrow road, trying to keep distance from the enemy. After much effort, Kyra manages to blow up the truck, but by then, the enemy has blocked the road ahead, unleashing a hail of bullets towards them. The car loses control, flips over, and plunges into the river. A moment later, miraculously, all three manage to escape and climb onto the riverbank. Kyra is shaken to her core, realizing that the people hunting her family are the remaining members of Shadow Force, the most notorious assassins. On the other side of the mountain, the attackers gather near the riverbank, watching the current carry the car away. One of them pulls out a phone to inform Jack, target vehicle has gone into the water. No sign of movement. They're probably dead. Jack's voice is full of anger. He doesn't need probably, he needs certainty. Alive, I want to see them. Dead, I want their bodies. Find them, no matter what. At their hideout, Isaac expresses his concern that only Dee and her colleague knew their location. Kyra remains calm, assuring her husband that she knows her friend, and Dee would never betray them. It's been a long time since the couple last saw each other. Kyra gently recounts how, 2 years ago at a fair, she was nearby. She managed to touch his shoulder and their son's head before disappearing into the crowd. Isaac chuckles, his eyes softening. He admits he knew it was her because he felt it. In a quiet moment, they lean into each other and share a passionate kiss after so many years apart. But the next morning, when Isaac wakes up, Kyra is gone. On a secure line, Kyra calls Jack. His smug voice fills the silence. He taunts her, claiming there's nowhere in the world she can hide that he can't find her. He also mentions he's doubled the bounty to about $100 million and will triple it by tomorrow. Kyra interrupts. Since the feud is between them, she suggests meeting him on his private island off the coast of Cartagena to settle things. However, she warns Jack that if he targets her family, she will expose all his darkest secrets to the government. Meanwhile, in Bogota, Dee and her colleague have just gotten into their car when they freeze, seeing Isaac waiting in the back seat with a gun. Wasting no time, Isaac demands to know Kyra's whereabouts. Dee and her colleague adamantly deny any wrongdoing. She reveals she has been helping Kyra ever since she went into hiding, so she certainly couldn't be the traitor. They then take Isaac and his son to a temporary safe house. Here, they can calmly think about their next plan. Meanwhile, Kyra alone pilots a boat to the island. As soon as she arrives, Jack's men immediately approach and thoroughly search her for weapons. She appears calm, maintaining her composure, facing the enemy without a hint of fear. She flirts and teases, making Jack curious enough to order his men to step back. Kyra slowly leans in, her hand caressing Jack under his clothes. Suddenly, she pulls out a gun and fires without hesitation. The shot hits its mark, but unfortunately for Kyra, he's wearing a bulletproof vest under his suit. Furious at being tricked, Jack orders his men to seize her and beat her unconscious. Back at the safe house, Isaac is mid-change when the room door suddenly explodes. Several Shadow Force members storm in. He tries to resist, but because the enemy is overwhelming, he eventually gets handcuffed and taken away. Kyra wakes up to find herself tied to a chair. Shortly after, Isaac is also brought in. She sees her son and softly whispers reassurance that everything will be okay. Dee is also brought into the room, hands tied, shortly after. To everyone's surprise, her colleague is the mole. He sold Isaac's group's location to Jack. Dee is furious, unable to believe he was the traitor. Jack then appears, saying his original plan was to execute both of them in front of their son, but now he has a better idea, to create a Shadow Force 2.0 and train Isaac and Kyra's son to be a member, a slow punishment, as he calls it, for them destroying his secret empire over the past 5 years. Kyra then turns to her former teammates and tells them the truth. Jack abused his authority, constantly harassing her. When she rejected him, he retaliated, stripping her of promotion opportunities and sidelining her within the organization. But none of that matters anymore. Now, all she wants is for her family to be safe. Suddenly, two of Jack's subordinates abruptly pull out guns and aim them at him. The room freezes. It turns out these two are agents from the Inspector General's office, who have been gathering evidence of Jack's crimes related to Shadow Force for years. This is truly an unforeseen element that could change the game. Just as the agents are about to handcuff Jack, one of the Shadow Force members impulsively grabs a gun and attacks. Chaos erupts, and a fierce battle ensues. Isaac and Kyra seize the opportunity, grab guns from the ground, and join the fight. In the confusion, Jack is accidentally shot. He tries to crawl into the kitchen to retrieve a hidden gun. The fight rages on. One of the two agents is severely wounded, but before dying, he manages to take a Shadow Force assassin down with him. Over here, the traitor, carrying a bag of money, tries to escape but encounters Isaac's son. While trying to lure the boy, he's suddenly subdued from behind by Dee. Furious at being betrayed, she beats him until he's unrecognizable. As for Kyra, she faces another female assassin. Despite once being colleagues, there's no holding back now. She throws a knife that embeds itself in her opponent's neck, then delivers a kick that sends her to meet her maker. When the battle ends, everyone reunites. But they realize Jack has escaped. Isaac and Kyra know what they have to do. Jack must die for their son to be safe. They entrust their boy to Dee's care, and then the two set off in pursuit of their enemy. A speedboat chase ensues on the sea, the two sides battling it out. Bullets fly everywhere. After a collision, Isaac is thrown overboard but manages to hang onto the boat. Finally, thanks to Kyra's skillful maneuvering, Jack's boat veers off course and crashes onto the shore of a nearby island. Knowing time is short, Isaac and Kyra split up to cover more ground and find the enemy more easily. Meanwhile, after the crash, Jack stumbles into a wedding party. Guests scream and scatter as gunshots ring out. Hearing the commotion, Kyra immediately heads in that direction. Over here, Isaac discovers the last Shadow Force assassin. The two engage in a fierce fight, a back-and-forth brawl. Although exhausted, Isaac finally manages to snatch the enemy's machete and then, with one swift move, finishes him off. After dealing with the enemy, he reaches the party. In this chaotic scene, he finds his wife being held hostage by Jack. Jack hides behind Kyra, thinking Isaac won't dare to shoot. But life isn't like a dream. Kyra looks Isaac straight in the eye, then subtly glances down at her own shoulder, their signal. Without hesitation, Isaac fires. Jack is hit, then receives a dozen more lead candies, and is done for. Our two protagonists take the opportunity to share a celebratory, passionate kiss. Finally, all danger has passed. 6 months later, they celebrate their son's birthday at their home. The air is filled with joy and laughter. It's the happy life Kyra and Isaac have longed for. Just then, Kyra receives a call from Dee, who says she has officially left her government contract work and is planning to establish a better version of Shadow Force, a team built on integrity. She even extends an invitation for Kyra to join. Kyra smiles and says, "Maybe someday." Then, Isaac rests his head on her lap. In a peaceful moment, they feel that all their past hardships were worth it for their current happiness. Kyra even reveals to her husband that they are expecting a second baby. The movie ends here. This is an American action thriller that was just released, called Shadow Force.